All right, let's talk about TypeScript, because what we're seeing right now might just be the single biggest transformation in its entire history. Seriously. We are talking about a massive, fundamental leap forward that is going to change how you and I work with this language every single day. You know the feeling, right? If you've ever been on a big project, you've been there. You keep adding code, the code base grows, and then it starts. The builds start to crawl, your editor gets just a little bit laggy, autocomplete takes a beat too long to pop up, and you're just waiting. It's such a common pain point, and it's that exact problem that is pushing TypeScript into its next big chapter. So here's the plan for this explainer. We're going to cover why this change was so desperately needed, what this whole native revolution is all about, and then we'll look at the absolutely mind-blowing speed improvements. We'll also cover the critical stuff you need to know, talk about the end of an era for the current codebase, and then, the best part, how you can get started with all this, like, today. So let's kick things off with the big why. I mean, why would the TypeScript team decide to rewrite their entire compiler? That's a huge undertaking. Well, the answer comes down to one simple thing: the need for speed. Look, we all love TypeScript for its safety, for the incredible tooling it gives us, but there's always been this hidden catch. The compiler itself was written in TypeScript, which runs on JavaScript engines. Now that's an amazing feat of engineering for sure, but it also became a bottleneck. As our projects got bigger and bigger, that JavaScript foundation just couldn't keep up. It was holding us back from the raw performance, better memory use, and true parallelism we needed.
And that brings us to the solution: a complete, from-the-ground-up rewrite. The team is porting the entire TypeScript compiler, the language service, everything, to native code. This isn't just a little tune-up. This is a whole new engine.
This whole effort has a pretty cool code name, Project Corsa. That's the internal name for what will eventually become TypeScript 7.0. And its entire goal is to unleash the power of native code to just crush those performance problems we've been talking about, making the entire experience faster, leaner, and way more efficient.
So, the big question: does it work? I mean, it sounds great in theory, but what does this native revolution actually deliver in the real world? Well, the proof is in the numbers, and honestly, they're staggering. Just take a look at these benchmarks on some huge open source projects. Compiling Sentry's codebase, it goes from over 2 minutes down to 16 seconds. That's an 8x speedup. TypeORM gets a nearly 10x boost. This is what native code and parallelism can do. We're not talking about small tweaks here. These are game-changing, go grab a coffee and it's done kinds of speed-ups.
But the hero stat, the one that really just makes your jaw drop, has to be this one. Compiling the VS Code codebase itself is now over 10 times faster with the new native compiler. It goes from 1.5 minutes to under 9 seconds. Just stop and think for a second about getting that kind of time back in your own daily workflow. It's insane.
Now, faster build times are amazing, but that's only part of the story. What about the moment-to-moment experience of actually writing code? Well, the great news is that these improvements aren't some distant promise. You can actually feel this speed in your editor right now. The language service, the thing that powers all the magic in your editor, has also been ported, and the core experience is already there and it's stable. We're talking completions with auto imports, go to definition, find all references, renaming, all the stuff we rely on every minute of the day. It's all been re-implemented in native code and it's ready to go. This means a snappier, more responsive editor experience is literally at your fingertips today.
Okay, so we're all hyped about the speed, but with a change this massive, there are always some super important details we need to cover. So let's dive into what you need to know about breaking changes and some of the current limitations. First things first, a little heads up. To get everyone ready for the future with TypeScript 7.0, the team is doing some house cleaning and modernizing a few things. And that means some familiar configurations are about to be deprecated.
So here's the deal. It's time to check your tsconfig.json files. Strict mode is going to be the default, which is honestly a fantastic move for code safety. Support for the very old ES5 target is being dropped, making ES 2015 the new baseline, which just makes sense. And some older flags like base URL and module resolution node 10 are also on their way out. So yeah, time to start auditing your projects and get ready for these changes.
It's also really important to have realistic expectations here. These native previews are incredibly powerful, but they're still a work in progress. So let's talk about a few things that aren't quite finished just yet.
There are 3 key areas to be aware of right now. First, JavaScript emit. If you need to compile your code down to older JavaScript versions, full support only goes back to ES 2021 at the moment. Second, watch mode might actually be a little less efficient in some cases. And third, and this is a big one, the programmatic API has been completely rewritten. So any tools you use, like linters or formatters that hook into the old API, they won't work with the native compiler until they get updated. This whole native revolution also marks a huge turning point for TypeScript's development strategy. It is, and this is not an exaggeration, truly the end of an era for the original codebase.
I mean, this quote from the team says it all. TypeScript 6.0 is it. It's the final major version. They'll be built on that familiar JavaScript-based compiler we've used for years. After this, all focus shifts to the native Corsa codebase for version 7.0 and everything that comes after. The message is loud and clear. The future is native.
This timeline really puts it all into perspective. We're coming from the Strata code base of 5.9. Right now, we're living in the era of TypeScript 6.0, which is basically the bridge release. It's introducing all these deprecations to help us get across to what's next, and that future is TypeScript 7.0, the fully native Corsa release.
So with all this incredible progress and this super clear roadmap, the last question is, what's next for you? How can you get your hands on this stuff and start taking advantage of these speed improvements right now?
Well, the team has made it incredibly easy to jump in. If you want that faster editor experience, just pop open the VS Code Marketplace, search for the TypeScript Corsa extension, and install it. Done. And if you want to try out that blazing fast compiler on your command line, just run npm install @typescript/native-preview. You can literally start playing with both of these in your projects today.
And that brings us to the final thought here. TypeScript 7.0 isn't just about making our current workflows faster. It's about enabling entirely new ones. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. When your build tools, your type checking, when that entire feedback loop becomes nearly instantaneous, what new ideas, what new tools, what new creative possibilities does that incredible speed unlock for you and your team?